The worst part was when she looked me straight in the eyes and said, "You should stick to places where people like you fit in better." It's not a criticism, just an observation. Places like this can be complicated for certain people. My name is Kevin Brooks. I own the Willow, a 5-star restaurant right in the heart of New York City. It's famous for serving big names, actors, politicians, business leaders. People come not just for the food, but for the feeling of being part of something exclusive. The lights are low, the decor is classy, and the whole place feels special. That night, Rachel Ellis walked in with her longtime friend Sarah. Rachel was born into money and always carried herself like she was above everyone else. She had on a costly dress and jewelry that looked simple, but was very expensive. Sarah seemed a little uneasy with how formal everything was, but she tried to match Rachel's pace. Rachel came in like the restaurant belonged to her. She didn't even look at the staff who held the doors open for her. She just expected perfect service, and for waiters to know her name without her saying it. What she didn't know was that I, the actual owner and a black man, was working as one of the waiters that shift. I like to stay in the background most of the time, but every now and then I put on the uniform to see how guests act toward the staff and how the team handles things. It's my way of making sure the place stays at the high level I want. As soon as I saw Rachel come in, I knew the night would be hard. I had heard about her. She was known for complaining a lot and making crazy demands. I walked up with a normal smile. "Good evening, ladies. Welcome to the Willow. May I show you to your table?" Rachel barely looked at me. "Yes, of course," she said, like I was just a thing in the room. Sarah gave me a quick, polite smile, but Rachel was already walking ahead, paying no attention to me. Once they were seated at one of the best tables, Rachel looked around like she was checking her own property. She said to Sarah, loud enough for me to hear as I passed with menus, "I hope the service is up to standard tonight." I stayed calm. I was used to this kind of attitude. I knew the night would be long, but I wasn't going to let one rude customer upset me. After all, I own the place, and dealing with people like Rachel is part of it. With menus in hand, Rachel started making demands before even looking at them properly. I expect the wine to be perfectly cold. Last time it wasn't right. And my main course, organic ingredients only. "You have that, right?" I answered, polite and calm. "Our wine is kept at the right temperature, ma'am. All ingredients come from trusted organic suppliers. We'll make sure everything is perfect tonight." "It better be," Rachel said low, almost like she didn't care, and then gave her order. Sarah ordered a simple salad in a much nicer way and thanked me. I took the orders to the kitchen. The chef raised an eyebrow and asked with a smile, "Is she always like this?" I shrugged. "Tonight she seems out to test us extra. But make the food exact, no room for complaints." The chef nodded and laughed a bit. "Leave it to me." While the food was getting ready, I served other tables but kept an eye on Rachel. She watched me from far away several times, like she was judging my every move, waiting for something wrong so she could point it out. When her dish was ready, I brought it myself and placed it careful in front of her. "Your salmon prepared as you asked, ma'am." Rachel looked at the plate like she was checking something important. She cut a piece slow, tasted it, chewed with no expression, then put the fork down. "It's acceptable. But I've had better." Sarah sighed a little and gave me a look like she was sorry. I stayed cool. "I'm glad it's to your liking, ma'am. If you need anything else, I'll be here." "I expect so," Rachel said cold, then turned back to Sarah like I wasn't there. Rachel was just getting started with her attitude. After her comment on the salmon, she kept talking to Sarah, always ready for the next chance to complain. "Have you noticed the service here is below what it used to be?" she said, not trying to keep her voice down. "It's not like before when real waiters worked here and knew what they were doing." Sarah glanced quick at nearby tables where people might have heard. "I think he's doing a good job," she said careful. Rachel laughed like it was silly. "Trying isn't enough in a place like this. When you pay this much, you expect perfect. And they don't train right anymore. They hire anyone these days. I mean, look at him. He seems so out of place, like he doesn't know real luxury." Sarah frowned. "You're going too far. He's been polite." "Polite isn't enough," Rachel said fast. "He should read customers better. For example, I expected him to know the best wine for my dish. But you can't expect that from someone like him." I was close enough to hear all of it while serving other tables. I was used to comments like that, but Rachel was making her bias clear on purpose. As the night went on, Rachel kept finding small problems. The napkin I brought wasn't folded perfect. The fork didn't look clean enough. The water wasn't cold enough. Every time I came to the table was a chance for her to show she felt better than me. "Do you think he knows anything about real wine?" she asked Sarah with a mean smile. "I doubt he can tell good wine from cheap store stuff." I came back when she called. "Can I get you anything else, ma'am?" Rachel looked at me like she was deciding if I was worth talking to. "You seem to know very little about wine. How can I trust your suggestions?" I kept calm. "We can bring another bottle, ma'am. We have good French wines. I suggest a Bordeaux. It goes well with salmon." Rachel looked a bit surprised but hid it with sarcasm. "Well, maybe you got lucky and learned something. Bring the Bordeaux." Sarah gave Rachel a look like she didn't approve. When I came back with the bottle, I did everything right, showed the label, poured a taste, waited. Rachel tasted slow, like she was in a contest. "It's acceptable. Basic but okay." I poured and stepped back, knowing she would find more to pick at. "You see," Rachel told Sarah, "it took pushing to get it right. This is what you have to do. Teach these people. Polite isn't enough if you don't know how to serve." The air in the restaurant started to feel tense. Other guests noticed Rachel's comments. Some gave unhappy looks toward her table. Sarah, now clearly uneasy, tried to change the subject. "Maybe we should just enjoy the food." But Rachel wasn't done. "The thing is, people need to know their place. In a high-end restaurant, staff should understand the level. This waiter clearly has no idea." I was in the kitchen checking orders when I felt the extra attention. Staff and some guests who knew who I was gave looks, but I stayed undercover for now. Rachel's attitude grew worse. She decided to push more. She looked around at the nice furniture and rich guests and got an idea. "I want something special," she said, cutting off Sarah and raising her hand to call me like I had been invisible. When I came, she crossed her arms and looked at me like a challenge. "I want something not on the menu. More personal. Seafood, but with a unique twist. Creative. Nothing ordinary. Surprise-moi." Her tone made it clear this was a test, not a real want. Sarah looked uneasy. "Rachel, I think you're going too far." "Too far?" Rachel laughed. "I'm just asking for the service this place should give. If they can't do special requests, they don't deserve their name." I nodded. "I'll do my best, ma'am. I'll talk to the chef." Rachel smiled, happy to think she was making things hard for someone she saw as below her. In the kitchen, I told the chef. He got it right away. "She's testing you, huh?" "Yeah," I said. "Make something good that'll shut down complaints." The chef grinned. "Don't worry. I'll make something special." He made a mix of grilled seafood with light spices, herb sauce, and fresh vegetables. It was perfect. I brought it myself and placed it careful. "Your dish, ma'am." The chef made grilled seafood with Mediterranean touches, herb puree, and fresh vegetables. "Hope you like it." Rachel looked at it like she was ready to find fault. She cut slow, tasted, paused long like searching for wrong. But it was great. Still, she wouldn't say so. "It's acceptable," she said with the same cold tone. "But I expected more creative. You can find this anywhere." Sarah sighed. "Rachel, you're being too hard. It looks excellent." "No, I'm not," Rachel said firm. "I'm just asking for the standard we pay for. Customers like me don't settle for ordinary." I said calm. "I understand, ma'am. If you need more, I'll be close." "I hope so," Rachel said, staring hard, waiting for me to mess up. But I hadn't given her a real reason yet. I walked away feeling her eyes on my back. She was set on testing me to the end. But I had faced hard things before and knew how to stay steady. Back in the kitchen, the chef asked, "Did she like it?" I smiled small. She said acceptable. That's high praise from her. The chef laughed. "She's tough. But we'll keep showing who knows food here." As the night continued, Rachel kept watching for any small mistake. But I stayed cool, knowing the time for the truth would come. Her attitude turned more direct and mean. Every time I came near, she found a way to put me down. "It's amazing who they hire these days," she said to Sarah while watching me serve another table. She smiled cold, like an inside joke. "This place used to have real professionals. Now anyone can wear the uniform and act like they know fine dining." Sarah tried again to stop it. "Rachel, he's doing a good job. Everything's been fine." Rachel scoffed. "Your standards are too low. Look at him. He seems more suited for simple work. I don't get how someone like that serves here." I heard the comment from close by. I was used to quiet bias, but Rachel was making it loud. I stayed calm, knowing the reveal was near. When I came back, Rachel was ready. "Waiter," she said without looking at me. "You forgot the side dish. I know it's hard for you to follow simple orders, but bring it." I said, patient. "Sorry for the wait, ma'am. I'll get it now." When I brought it, she stopped me. "Wait, I have a question. Have you ever even been a guest in a place like this before you worked here?" I knew what she meant. "Yes, ma'am. I come to places like this often." She chuckled soft. "Of course you do. Then, honestly, how did someone like you get a job here? You don't look like the type we'd see working at the Willow." Her words were loud humiliation and clear racism. Nearby tables went quiet. People watched the awkward scene. Sarah put her head down, embarrassed but not stopping her friend. I took a breath. The moment was close, but Rachel pushed more. "Have you ever thought," she said in a fake nice tone, "that maybe you should stay in places where you fit better?" It's not criticism, just an observation. Places like this can be hard for certain people. At that point, the manager, John, came to the table. He had heard about the growing problem. "Good evening, ma'am," he said with a forced smile. "Is there an issue I can help with?" Rachel turned to him strong. "Yes. This waiter isn't up to the level of this restaurant. I don't know how you hire people with no training. The Willow has really gone down." John kept his face the same. He knew this was the moment. He gave me a small nod. I stepped forward. "Ma'am, I understand you're not happy, but before we go on, there's something you need to know." Rachel looked narrow-eyed. "And what is that?" I stayed calm, but my voice had weight. "I'm Kevin Brooks. I own the Willow." The words hit hard and fast. Rachel's smug smile disappeared in a second. Her face went pale with total shock. Sarah covered her mouth, couldn't believe it. The whole restaurant went silent. Everyone looked at the table. Rachel stammered, voice shaking. You're joking, right?" "No, ma'am. My name is Kevin Brooks. I own this place. I work as a waiter sometimes to make sure guests get the best, and to see how staff and customers act. I've done it for years." Rachel froze. All her confidence and mean attitude fell apart in front of everyone. I didn't know," she tried, panicked. "If I'd known you were the owner, I would never." "That's the problem, ma'am." I cut in calm. "It shouldn't matter who I am, owner or regular waiter. What matters is how you treat people. Tonight you showed no respect, not just to a worker, but to a person." Rachel opened and closed her mouth, no words coming. Sarah looked full of shame, wanting to vanish. I went on. "At the Willow, respect is the top thing. For everyone's race, money, or job. Everyone gets treated with dignity. Tonight, ma'am, you didn't do that." Rachel finally looked down, unable to meet my eyes. "I'm sorry," she said low, but it sounded empty. I nodded small, keeping my dignity. "I hope if you come back, it's different, and that you think about tonight." I stepped away, leaving her with what she did. The silence was thick as guests took it in. For once, Rachel wasn't in control, and no excuse could fix her image. Rachel sat quiet, hands shaking on the tablecloth. The fancy room that once felt great now felt too much. Whispers started table to table, and stares weighed on her. For the first time that night, she felt small and weak. Sarah, still quiet, looked at her with pity and shame. "Rachel, I think we should go," she whispered. Rachel just nodded slow. She stood up shaky, feeling every step heavy as they walked out. For the first time ever, her confidence was broken in public, no way to hide it. As they passed tables, she felt the eyes, judgment, disapproval, maybe disgust. The same cold looks she had given me all night now came back at her, and it hurt bad. Rachel always thought she was untouchable in her rich world. But now everything flipped. On the way out, she passed John. He watched calm, no words, but his eyes said clear. "New rules here, and people like Rachel aren't welcome if they can't act right." Rachel and Sarah left quiet. The cold New York night felt sharp, matching how Rachel felt inside. Outside, cars passed, city life went on, not caring about her shame. Back inside, I took a moment to think. That night mattered. Not just for showing Rachel's bias, but for reminding me of my own values as owner and person. I worked hard for everything, from simple start to owning one of the city's top spots. Along the way, I met many like Rachel who judged by skin color or looks, never knowing the real story. John came up. "You handled it great." She had no clue. I gave a tired smile. "Not the first time. Won't be the last." But it felt important. John said, "She won't forget this." "I hope she learns," I said, serious. "I'm not here to shame anyone. I'm here to remind that everyone deserves respect, owner or waiter. Dignity in how we treat each other matters. The restaurant slowly got back to normal. Guests talked again, though many whispered about what happened. I looked around, happy the mood stayed good. My calm kept things from getting worse. Soon, some guests came to me. They thanked me for the service and nice feel of the place. An older woman from a nearby table walked up. "You're a very patient man," she said, kind. Not everyone would stay so calm with someone like that. I smiled, touched. "Thank you, ma'am. Sometimes patience is best." She nodded, got her bag. "You have a beautiful restaurant. I'll come back more." I thanked her again and watched her go, feeling good about my goal to make the Willow about respect, not just food, but fair treatment for all. As the night ended and the place emptied, I walked slow to my back office. I sat and thought a few minutes. I had dealt with similar things before, but this felt different. Maybe the open racism or how I showed dignity wins. I thought about my path. The hard parts as a black man in a mostly white high-end world, fighting to be seen equal, working extra to prove I belong and do well. Rachel was a reminder bias is still there, but also that I'm on the right track. Soft steps at the door. John came in with a small smile. "You deserved a calm night after that." I laughed light. "Yeah, but nights like this remind us why we do it." John nodded. "You did more than stay cool. You showed real dignity." I smiled back, standing. "We can all learn from nights like this." Hopefully Rachel did too. I turned off the lights and left, sure that bias exists, but I can fight it with calm, strength, and doing right. For me, that's enough.